In the garden of existence, every tree bears its own story. Some rise tall and unmarked, while others, shaped by storms and seasons, display scars upon their bark. Among these, the bonsai stands as a quiet testament to resilience, a living sculpture molded by deliberate struggle, discipline, and the graceful acceptance of imperfection. Much like the ancient philosophers of the West once proclaimed, it is not the life devoid of hardship that develops character, but rather the one refined and strengthened by adversity. Thus, it is in our wounds that we often find the seeds of our true identity. Imagine, if you will, a weathered European philosopher standing beside his bonsai. The lines on his face echo the intricate twists of the tree's trunk, each wrinkle a reflection of battles fought and lessons learned. He gazes quietly at the small tree, hands calloused from years of patient care, his thoughts drifting towards the echoes of Socrates, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, the enduring voices of the Stoics. They taught that pain is not merely to be endured but embraced, for it carves away what is superficial and reveals what is essential. Scars, both in wood and flesh, have tremendous power. They are the record keepers of our struggle, our growth, our transformation. For the bonsai, scars form when branches are expertly pruned, when wires are carefully bent to guide growth, when harsh winds and fierce sun leave their mark. Yet instead of diminishing the tree's beauty, these scars add a unique character, an individuality impossible to replicate. How much more true is this for a human soul? In the ancient academies of Greece, philosophers would walk side by side, arguing not for comfort, but for virtue. Plato spoke of the soul's tripartite nature, emphasizing the constant tension between desire, reason, and spirit. Pain, whether from loss, betrayal, or failure, awakens these forces within us. It is through such awakening that one's character is tested and tempered. Just as the bonsai is never left wild and unchecked, so too must our souls be shaped by the hands of hardship. Centuries later, in the cold marble halls of Rome, Stoicism flourished. Seneca declared that difficulties strengthen the mind just as labor strengthens the body. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, wrote nightly to himself, questioning, reflecting, striving for wisdom. For these thinkers, scars were credentials, evidence of a life lived fully and courageously. Their pain became their wisdom, and their wisdom, a beacon for generations. There is a lesson here for anyone willing to see it. In society, people often hide their scars, masking them with layers of distraction or pretense, fearing that exposure will reveal weakness or invite judgment. But the great paradox of existence is that in vulnerability there is power, and in honesty there is liberation. Scars are not merely reminders of pain, but also proofs of survival and recovery. They show that something or someone mattered enough to leave a mark. Consider the European sculptor, chisel in hand, carefully carving a figure from stone. Each strike risks fracture, and yet, without daring to press tool to marble, the form remains trapped, undefined. The figure's final beauty arises from both the precision and the errors, the accidental chips and necessary corrections. So it is with our lives. The blemishes left by sorrow or conflict do not mar our worth. Rather, they refine and personalize it. Look closer at the bonsai, at the twist of its branches, the roughness of its bark. Each wound attended by the gardener is not an act of cruelty, but an invitation to become something more, a lesson in patience, endurance, and hope. The tree responds not by breaking, but by adapting, sending out roots and shoots, working in harmony with what cannot be undone. Over time, the wounded places grow stronger, wood thickens around them, the bark darkens, and the shape becomes unique. No two bonsai are ever alike, precisely because no two have endured the same shaping or weathered the same storms. This is the heartbeat of the ancient Western philosophy, that suffering is not meaningless, but rather the furnace in which authenticity is forged. Adversity, though painful, compels us to examine ourselves, to understand where we are weak, and to strengthen those places. In time, even the deepest scar may become a source of pride, a symbol of battles fought, lessons learned, and wisdom gained. To walk the path of self-cultivation is to accept that pain will come. The wise do not run from it, nor do they wallow in it. Instead, they gather insight from every trial, transmuting suffering into wisdom and wisdom into strength. Like the bonsai, the European philosopher learns to live within certain limits. Not all wounds heal perfectly or fade away, but their presence can inspire grace, empathy, and unshakable perseverance. Every story of courage contains pain. Every act of forgiveness is born from hurt. Each achievement presupposes effort and sacrifice. To shield ourselves from every hardship is to deny ourselves the chance to become extraordinary. The ancient Stoics taught that fate is neither kind nor cruel, but indifferent. Meaning is constructed through our response, and our scars become the narrative threads that bind our life together. So let the scars remain visible, both on the living tree and in the heart. Let them be tokens of victory over challenges, maps of the journey traveled. Let them teach us humility, steadfastness, and gratitude. In cultivating the bonsai, the gardener is reminded daily that beauty is not found in flawlessness, but in resilience, not in escaping difficulty, but in prevailing through it. Thus the lesson endures, across centuries, across continents, in the shape of gnarled roots and weathered faces. To carry scars is not shameful, but sublime. For in the journey through pain, we are not diminished, but amplified, rendered irreplaceably ourselves. Through trials, we grow roots. Through suffering, we blossom. Through scars, we find our truest identity, and ultimately, our strength.